Hey guys, I did not really want to make this video, but because of the news that PlayStation have recently delivered about physical media, I want to share some stories with you about my journey with physical media on the PlayStation, why I think it's so significant, and why I'm really let down by the news that was delivered here and the way that it has completely just ruined my love for gaming. Ever since I was a young kid, I have really loved a lot of what PlayStation had delivered. I was a big fan of all of the consoles, all of the games, and have had a great time over the years. But I feel like gaming has moved into a direction that is moving on from what I enjoyed about gaming, and it's been doing it for quite some time. From the console just consistently getting more expensive, games getting more expensive, the lack of support for studios, forcing studios that make single player games and narrative driven experiences to go into an online market so they can sell a billion microtransactions. The fact that gaming has really just turned into something that lacks anything with any significant meaning. I used to consider video games to be an art form akin to movies or books or something like that. And I just don't think of it like that anymore. I just think it's a corporate product there to milk you of every dime that it can. And it's just such a shame now that with the announcement that PlayStation will no longer support physical media from 2028, that I'm going to stop gaming entirely with new releases. I will not buy a single new release game after 2028 because of this news, because I'm not supporting a direction where gaming is going that is endlessly greedy, that feels like it's trying to exploit you more and more and push the boundaries as much as it can with that. And I feel like the gaming audience just takes it. They whinge, they complain, they don't do anything about it. They don't speak with their wallet. They just whinge for a couple of weeks and then move on with their day and keep buying, keep buying, keep buying. And what does that tell a company like Sony? That's great. We love what you are doing. Keep pushing. Keep doing that. Keep exploiting us for all you're worth. And I say enough is enough. I will be speaking with my wallet and I will no longer be playing those new releases. I will stick to my old collection of physical media. But now, let's celebrate what physical media was able to bring. This right here was my first ever game, Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation 2. I was probably about 5 years old when I got this game. My dad got a PlayStation 2 with his phone plan, which seemed pretty wild nowadays. But he got the chunky PS2 console and a copy of Ratchet and Clank 1, and he gave it to me. And this is one of my most nostalgic and favorite video game franchises of all time. And from there, a love for gaming really began. I remember getting the iToy and playing that and all of those installments. SingStar, which I still have to this day. And you know what the beauty of physical media is, guys? I still have a PlayStation 2 Slim. At any time I want, I could pop this bad boy in and play the very first game I ever bought, which came out in 2003 or 2002 or whatever. It's just crazy. And there is something to be said about video game preservation and how that may no longer be a thing. If, say, we lived in a world that we do now, where the PS2 didn't have physical media or anything like that, I wouldn't have that. And if Sony did what they consistently do and take things off and take things away, like they're doing with the PlayStation 3 store and deleting the games that you had, say they did that for the PlayStation 2 and I had this downloaded on there and they took it away. I could never touch this. I could never play this. I could never relive those memories that were so dear to me. And that's something that is really missing with physical media and why it is so important. And I think it's something where video gaming has just gotten so cold in something that used to be so warm And that was associated with just great memories of playing these games. Another example of why physical media is so important ties to my copy of Ratchet and Clank 3 that I have for the PS2. One of my fondest Christmas memories, right, was where I really, really wanted this game more than anything. That was the number one thing I wanted. And I opened up all my gifts for Christmas, and I was spoiled. I was pretty happy. I got everything I could have wanted. I didn't get this though. And while that was okay, I was like, oh, we can get it another time. There's no problem at all. I wouldn't have been that old at that time, maybe 8 or something like that. And I remember my parents saying to me, maybe an hour or two after I had opened all the presents and starting to enjoy Christmas Day, they go, oh, I think you're missing a gift. There's something on the back of the tree. Go have a look. So I go have a look on the back of the tree, and sitting on top of the tree is this, wrapped up. I knew what it was already. You could tell by the beautiful shape of a wrapped game on Christmas what it was. Opened it up, and I got Ratchet and Clank 3, which is now maybe my favorite game of all time. A game that is so significant to me, that I love so, so much. And something that is a real shame with online gaming and focusing only on having digital games and things like that is, once again, I can't really play this version of the game here in Australia. In America, I believe this is on the PS Plus Classics catalog. In Australia, I don't believe it is. I couldn't touch or play these games at all on a modern console. I would once again have to rely on an old console. And I know what you're thinking. It's like, just go on the old console and play it then. That's not what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say to you is, once again, I'm looking years down the line when we go up to the PS8 and the PS9. And you're a kid like I was, and you had those cherished games that you really loved playing on the PlayStation 5. Maybe something like Astro Bot, right? Which is a phenomenal game. And PlayStation decides to do what they're doing and no longer backing physical media and things like that. When you become my age, you won't be able to relive those childhood memories at all. Anytime you have nostalgia for a game that you really loved and you really want to go back and play, which is something I do all the time, you won't be able to. PlayStation basically told you to go fuck yourself. Fuck your childhood memories. I don't give a damn. All I care about is money. All I care about is owning your ass with these digital games where I can set the price, I get the most profit, and you have to go with my whims. If I delete any game that you have to sit there and take it. And the thing with gamers is they consistently take it, and I'm sick of seeing it happen. It pisses me off to no end when we see these consoles go up, where we see these game prices go up, where we see the quality of the games going down consistently year after year. And once again, some people make some sort of whingy video about it. Someone will try and play it both sides. It's like, when is the outrage going to start? When are we going to speak with our wallets? We don't have to buy and support Sony all the fucking time. We can wait. We can wait a year. We cannot buy games. We cannot buy the new console and get the new shiny thing for a year. Let them know. Let them hit them where it hurts, their wallet. They want to survive as a business. All they give a damn about is how much money they're going to make at the end of the day. And if you take that away from them, they're going to go back and do what we want. They're going to listen to what you want a lot more. What do you think Xbox is trying to do right now? Yes, they fail at every fucking turn, but right now they're trying to play on your nostalgia for the games that you played when I was a kid. That might have been Halo for you or something like that, right? And they're doing it because they know what you like. They know what you're into, and they want to play at that so that you can keep investing in their ecosystem. It's as simple as that. That's how a business operates. And you giving them every single penny, you getting that PS5 Pro, you getting every new game, even when they take things away from you, is disappointing to see, because that is all I know is the way that they're going to listen to you. Just once again, complaining about it online, it's just not going to do it, unfortunately. It's really, really sad to see year after year as it just gets worse and worse and worse. The PS5 that I have now should not be an appreciating asset. Like, it just shouldn't be. The amount that I paid for it when I got it at launch and was very excited about that because the PS4 generation did me so right and I had such a great time with that generation that I thought, well, yeah, let's invest in the PS5 and let's get it as early as possible and get bought into the hype of it all. And honestly, that should be the most expensive that you could have possibly have gotten it at. You should now be able to get it on a deal. Parents should be able to get it for their kids on Christmas at an affordable price, something more reasonable, maybe in a bundle. Once again, going back to me as a kid, the first console I remember actually buying with my own money was a PlayStation 3. I bought it years into the generation. I earned it through doing chores and earning pocket money here and there. It was mowing the lawns, I'd get like $5 or $10 or something like that, or washing the dishes and things like that. I'd get $1 here and there, and eventually, like over months and months and months, I built up enough to be able to get a PlayStation 3 and get a game or two with it. I remember getting Gran Turismo 5 and Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time with it, and I felt so accomplished doing that. The console was not at its peak full price. In Australia, I think it got close to $1,000 for one brand new. I got it for about $300 brand new because we were years and years into the generation. We were getting close to the PS4 coming along. That's how close it was and how far that generation had lapsed. But I felt so accomplished being able to do that with my own pocket money and earn that. It's a memory that I'll remember forever with nothing but fondness, and taught me some very valuable lessons in life that I'm very thankful for. And I'm sorry, like a kid trying to do that with pocket money now, yeah, good luck getting a PS5 for $1,000, buddy. Like, someone with a full-time salary is going to have trouble doing that, on top of trying to pay their bills and pay for food and things like that, which are only getting more and more expensive because everyone is trying to exploit you. And it's just really sad, and I'm just so devastated by this news. And the last game that I think really represents why physical media is super important is this one right here. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots on the PlayStation 3. A game that you can only play on the PlayStation 3. I don't need to say what I've been saying over the course of this video already once again. But say in a generation, you get a game like this that is only landlocked to that one console, you need to rely so heavily on these companies to maybe come through with you with a remaster or a port or a remake or something like that. And most of the time lately with these remakes and remasters, they're not the same quality as that original version. And the beauty of physical media is I own a PlayStation 3. This game right here, all these people that are complaining about how this game is landlocked to a PlayStation 3 and they can't play it anywhere else and don't have any way of being able to play this, I can turn around right now, turn on my PlayStation 3, put this disc in, and play Metal Gear Solid 4 from start to finish. And you won't be able to do anything like that in the future. It's so important that physical media lasts. It is something that I've been passionate about. You can see behind me, I have a ton of physical media for movies, for games. I have books. I refuse to believe that this is a sign of progression and moving forward. I guess there is a convenience element of it. Of course, everyone has bought something digitally at some stage in their life. I have bought games digitally, but it's not the primary way that I would get games. It was always physical media. And I'd really only get something digitally if I had no other choice. It happened with Alan Wake 2, a game I was really wanting to play, and there was no other way to do it except buy it digitally, and that feels so anticlimactic. I love being able to just look at this cool cover art, read everything on the back here, open up this game here, have a cool-ass manual that I could read through. And that's just a dying art, and you may call me old or old-fashioned or something like that because that's the way I've enjoyed it over this time, but I genuinely think it's better, and I don't think going to an all digital future is the solution and a sign of progression. Physical media needs to stay. It is important for so many reasons. It adds to the experience of gaming. It gives kids something cool to open on Christmas Day. I mean, think about it, right? You're a parent that is wanting to buy their kid a game. And I think a kid would be much more excited in being able to open something like this on Christmas Day or their birthday or something like that than you going, hey, let's go on the PlayStation store and let's get you a game. Or you put in a card and they've got an $100 PlayStation store gift card. I just think that lacks imagination, wonder, and takes away something that I think is important for many kids. And I think gaming is just such an invaluable part of many children's lives. And I think it is important and just a really cool art form to explore. And it's just sad that that's just not really going to be how it's going to look in the future. It feels like such a letdown. And that's something I can no longer support. And as I said, when 2028 comes, when PlayStation say, we're done with physical media, I'm going to say, I'm done with you. And that'll be it for me. I'm going to stick with my beautiful collection of physical media and play those games only. And yeah, that'll be it. I won't be buying the new releases. I'm not going to be buying the new consoles. That's it for me. I am done. I am not giving Sony a lick of my money in terms of gaming, unless they maybe change their mind and do it all over again. And I hope that some other people could follow suit and do the same thing. I truly believe that if enough people, instead of just complaining about it on social media, actually stopped supporting Sony, actually stopped giving them your money, I think they would change their tune really quickly, because once again, that's just how business works at the end of the day. But yeah, I've probably done enough rambling. I just really wanted to share some cool stories with you, and I hope that I've sort of illuminated to you why I think physical media is so important and why I think it continues to hold weight and add to the experience of gaming that I think is just going to get torn away over time and make gaming a very, very sad thing in the future. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.